Hey, this is Coach Brandolyn, and on today's Insta Coaching, I want to talk about why we feel afraid or why we feel negatively about our future. So I had coaching calls today back to back to back to back all day long, and for some reason, this topic came up on every single call that I was on. So I think that it's really important for me to illustrate why it is that we feel this way about our future. So there's this misconception that the reason we feel negatively is because of what happened in the past. Well, of course I feel bad because I got fired from my job, or that venture failed, or I got broken up with, or I got rejected. And I know it really seems like that thing that happened in the past is the reason why you feel badly, but it isn't. The past doesn't exist, and something that doesn't exist can't actually have any constraint on how you're feeling right now, so it must be something else. See, it's not really the breakup or the loss or the rejection or the abandonment or the failure itself that's making us feel bad in the present moment. Instead, it's what we made those things mean about what's possible for our future. So something bad happens to us, and then because that bad thing happened, we say, okay, because this happened, now less is possible for me in my future. Because I got broken up with, that must mean that I'm going to be alone and that I'm never going to find a love like that and that my life is going to be miserable. Or because I really went for a dream and it didn't work out, that must mean that I can't really do what I love. I can't really have a fulfilling life. I'm not really good enough. So then, of course, we feel upset because now we're living into a future in which we don't get to be fulfilled or happy or peaceful or have what we want. So it's not actually the breakup or the failure or the rejection that makes us feel bad about ourselves in the present. It's what we made those things mean about what's possible for us in the future. See, how you feel in the present moment is always given by the future that you are living into, the future that you think you're going to have. If I told you that you got to have dinner with your favorite celebrity tonight, how you feel in the present moment would be altered, not because any of your life circumstances changed, but because the future that you're living into was altered, and that gives you how you feel right now. So if you feel upset right now, if you feel cynical, if you feel resigned or anxious about your future, that's your clue that you put constraints on your future based on stuff that happened in the past. So stuff happened to you in the past, and then you made up a story about how that same stuff was going to keep happening to you again. And then, of course, you feel upset because you created a really shitty future for yourself that you're living into. I'll give you kind of a stupid example of this. So I remember when I was in third grade math class, and the teacher asked for somebody to come up to the board and do a fractions problem. I think it was like a 9 divided by 3 or something, and I went up there and I multiplied instead of divided, and I wrote 27, and everybody laughed. And that felt terrible to be laughed at like that. So my subconscious mind was like, how do we prevent this embarrassment from ever happening again? Oh, let's just decide that I'm really bad at math. And so then that summer, when I'm picking all of my classes for the next year, I pick honors classes and everything except for math because I'd already decided that I was bad at math and written off the possibility of ever getting better at it. And that decision followed me through the rest of my life. Honors classes and everything besides math. And after a while, I'd forgotten that it was a decision that I made. I just thought that it was the truth, that I was bad at math. And of course, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I put myself in the stupid math classes and I never got better at math, and then I just had more evidence that I was bad at it. So when we make limiting decisions about what's possible for us and then forget that we made that decision, then we just relate to it like fact. We look at our future and we say, well, it's true that I can't have what I want. It's true that I'm going to be bad at math for forever. And then we get so used to these beliefs, so desensitized to them, that we forget that they were beliefs in the first place and we relate to them like fact. It's like a fish not knowing that it's swimming in water because it's just been in water its whole life. So if you're not feeling jazzed and super lit up and excited about what's possible for you in your future, then you can bet that you've made a series of limiting decisions about what's possible for you. I call these protective decisions. They're protective because we make the decisions in response to stuff that doesn't feel good, like failure and rejection and embarrassment and disappointment, in order to prevent us from ever having to feel that way again. And yeah, if you never ask a guy out again, you won't have to feel rejected. And yeah, if you put yourself in stupid math classes, you won't have to feel failure. And yeah, if you never go after your dreams, you're never going to have to risk anything. But is that really the life you want to live? all these limiting decisions are really protecting us from is having a life that we love and experiencing the fullness of what it is to be alive and be human and go after what we want. So you want to erase these decisions. You want to cancel them out so that your future is full of possibility. It's unlimited. You want to remove all the constraints so that you can get jazzed about what's possible. So in order for you to figure out what these limiting decisions are so that you can erase them, you got to get curious about what you think is not possible for you in the future. So I want you to fill out the following statement. I would create blank in my future, but I can't because blank happened in my past. For example, I would pursue that entrepreneurial venture that I have, but I can't because all my ideas have failed in the past. Or I would create a really fulfilling relationship, but I can't because everybody that I like turns me down. Fill out this statement as many times as you can, because every time you discover a new limiting belief that you have, you now have power over it rather than it having power over you. Nothing that's ever happened in your past is actually constraining what's possible in your future. Your past means nothing about what's possible for you in your future. You just pretend like things that happened in your past mean something about your future because you think it's protecting you, and it's not. So delete, destroy, remove, uncreate all of those limiting beliefs that you have about your future, and then look at your future with fresh eyes and see how you feel when you've been given the gift of a brand new future to live into. Thanks for watching.